My name is Amelia. I'm 30 years old and I work in a company. I am a hardworking career woman who loves her job. And since I love my job, you could even say that I'm a workaholic. But even if I am a workaholic, I am still a wife to my husband, Todd. I met my husband, Todd, at my previous company that I used to work for. Since we both loved working, we talked about our jobs and how we worked at them and then went out for drinks together. Since then, we gradually got attracted to each other and started officially as a couple. 3 years have passed in a blink since we got married, and as we both tend to share the house chores, since it's always been that way, I guess people just assume that there are no particular complaints about Todd or anything, but for some reason, people have been asking me about whether we're going to see any changes in the way he does things. It seems that to many people after of marriage, it is only normal to child or at least get pregnant. Well, it is true that the number of housewives with kids are increasing, friends who are all in the same age. I guess the people who are concerned about it doesn't mean to be offensive, but instead they are just simply worried about me. But well, my parents-in-law are being very annoying about it though. Every time Todd and I visit my pair at their place, they would always about when they would get to see the grandkids. The other day, they even said this, "It's not good that you both work. Be that. Maybe you don't have time to pregnant, right?" I don't have time or enough space in my heart to respond to every single con that my in-laws make, so I just shrug it off. To begin with, neither my husband nor I are in a hurry to have kids right away. Todd and I always talk about me getting pregnant as if it will happen naturally, since both of us love our jobs, but we know that it's not always that easy. Even so, I cannot ignore the fact that the pressure we get from the people is getting stronger and stronger, and I feel bad when someone mentions the idea. On difficult days like that, we can cook some easy snacks which go well with beer and eat and drink to forget about the topic of getting pregnant or trying. I find myself falling asleep on thee and seeing me asleep, my husband car to the bed. We really do have a well-balanced and harmonious life as a married couple. Why do I have to listen and care about what other people say? Just as I was being a little discourteous about having kids, I received a call from my younger brother, who was 3 years younger than me, telling me that he and his wife just had a baby. Hearing the news, I went to the hospital where my mother was being treated. Once we arrived at the hospital, I saw a cute, adorable baby in my brother's arms. I was allowed to hold her in my arms and was so moved and touched by how she was so full of life and energy, even though she was tiny. It really was a strange feeling. I see. So this is what it means to baby, huh? My younger brother, who was also concerned about his own wife's health, came to visit her and spoke to her kindly and tried to comfort her. As his big sister, I always thought brother was spoiled and really weak. Had become a very brave, strong man, was moved again to think that after this experience, I am ashamed of myself for admitting that I wanted to have a baby right away. Once I went home, I told my husband what had happened and about my feel. When I said that we should try to hey, baby, my husband suddenly started to,
Huh?
Whoa, what happened? Why are you crying?
Well, no. It's happy tears because you wanted a baby, and now we have a baby, you know. Actually, I have been wanting to hay for a long time now.
What really you did? But I thought we agreed to let it happen naturally.
Well, you said that you still wanted to work hard at your company, Amelia, so I'm holding back a little, you know?
Oh, wow, that's so amazing! Then I am really sorry for giving time.
No, it's okay. Let's do our best and try to have a now on.
Finding out about my husband's unexpressed feelings, I reflected back on how things were and felt bad. Was living too selfishly, hadn't been giving enough of himself. A husband and wife should work together as a team in marriage. So, since then, Todd and I did every could do for me to get pregnant. We gathered information from our friends with children and just did everything we could to prepare ourselves. But no matter how much we tried, unfortunately, I still couldn't get it at all. And before I knew it, a year had passed time, and after 4 years of marriage, we still hadn't gotten pregnant, and we still didn't have any kids. My in-laws started blaming too much for our infertility, saying that it was the reason why we couldn't conceive. So my husband and I finally decided to adopt. I felt kind of bad about doing this, as it felt like we were trying out who the culprit was, but I changed my mind and decided to take a positive perspective on the situation. Treatment can make things better. Todd and I then underwent various tests. After taking various tests, the clinic said that the results would be mailed at a later date. Since there was no point in being impatient and stressed out, I went about my business as usual. Then, one day after work, I suddenly received a text message from my husband. He had texted me asking to meet him. How unusual. Does this mean that he wants to eat the first time in a while? My husband is basically the type of person who likes to drink at home and doesn't go out that much. I replied asking, "What's wrong with that?" He replied, "Just come over." I wondered what it was about, but since it was within walking distance from where I worked at, I headed to the bar anyway. When I arrived at the bar, my husband waved at me to come over. We sat down together, and I ordered a beer like my husband was drinking. As we ate our appetizers, I asked my what's wrong, asking me to come all of a sudden. To that, my husband replied, "I want to talk to you about something." He became serious.
A person will come in a few minutes, so please hold on until then.
Someone's coming over too?
Yeah.
I thought that this all sounded complicated, but I just continued to the beer and waited around for someone to come. Since I was getting a little hungry, we ordered fried chicken and some other snacks, which goes well with the beer. And about 10 minutes later, a woman never seen before came toward our...
Oh, Kendall, over here.
The woman named Kendall came over and sat down beside Todd. She looked very young, so she is early 20s, which means she must have just started working.
Would you like a beer too, Kendall?
Yes, please. Thank you.
My husband always orders the beer for Wendy, which is a normal thing to do.
Who are you?
Her name is Kendall, and she's a colleague at work. She recently joined the company.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Oh, hi.
Oh, what is the meaning of this? What's the reason for my husband to colleague here out of the blue? Just what kind of situation is this? A lot of questions began to pop up head. I noticed that the beer was also placed in front of Kendall, so I quickly raised my can of beer too.
Why is Miss Kendall brought over? And besides, you said that you want to me about something earlier on. What is it that you want to talk to?
If I didn't say or ask anything, the conversation wouldn't go on, so I couldn't help but ask Todd about ABCU. Then my husband and Kendall both put down their beer and got very serious.
Amelia, please listen to me. Kendall got pregnant, and she is hey baby.
Oh, really?
Kendall's becoming a mother so young, huh? It must be tough.
And the baby is mine.
Hearing this outrageous news, I felt as if someone had hit me on the head with a baseball bat or something.
I'm really sorry, Amelia. Since I got Kendall pregnant, he wants us to get a divorce.
Excuse me?
Mrs. Amelia, please. I want to be with Todd so that we can raise our baby together.
I really couldn't wrap my head around what Todd and Kendall were saying. You mean to say that despite all your husband had said about doing their best to have a baby and getting infertility treatment with you, he just happened to have a child with him, so now he leaves me and be with that person?
This is just really unbelievable.
I really feel bad about what I did, Amelia.
Since when? I'm asking you. How long have you been having an affair with her behind my back?
What do you want to know about?
It was about 6 months ago in April. That was when I first joined the company and we had a welcome party. And then he said to me,
All right, that's enough. Thank you. So that's how the affair started, huh?
Both my husband and Kendall nodded.
I know that this is something to expect at all, Amelia, but the fact that Kendall and I had a child so easily makes me think that she and I were meant to be parents. Because, Amelia, we tried so hard to have a baby and for you to get pregnant, but you couldn't get pregnant, right? So, I'm really sorry to you, Amelia. I want you to divorce me and go on with your old ways.
Hearing what he had to say was Jay pissed off that I didn't know what back to him. Who the hell does he think he is? And was Todd saying that because the woman had a child, my marriage to her no longer important to Todd? Is this all what Todd thought of me as? Why would Todd even bring me to a bar to talk about such an important thing as our divorce? And Todd just ordered a beer like it was a casual thing, right? Does he think that we can talk about and how our married life is in shameful bars?
How dare you underestimate me? You are such an asshole.
Thinking all these things, my anger at once, and I poured the beer I was in my hand onto my husband.
Oh, Todd, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was prepared for this to happen. Can be with you, Kendall. I need to put up with it.
Oh, Todd, you're so funny.
I was beyond disgusted. Who the hell do they think they are? Both Todd and Kendall was in there.
I will gladly divorce a stupid guy.
And with that, I left the bar. I then went back home, packed my bags, and that's when I suddenly saw on the post, so I had taken it out to it was,
Oh, this?
and there I learned the shocking truth. Thinking that I could use it, I packed up my belongings and left home. For the time being, I went back to my parents' house and explained the situation to them. Both my parents were upset with me and how I acted towards them. So they said that I could stay as long as I wanted. The apartment I was living in was rented under his name, so I had to continue living there. Besides, I didn't want to live there because I was too disgusted with the way she was using the apartment. A few days later, my husband sent me divorce papers, so I signed them and submitted them right away. With this, the divorce was finalized smoothly. As for the alimony, I hired a lawyer and got my ex-husband and Kendall to pay $20,000 each. A few months later, it seems like T. Kendall got married. Since it was indeed a shotgun marriage, Kendall quit her job and became a full-time housewife for Todd. I then waited for the perfect time. Kendall had told me that it had been several months since she had become pregnant with Todd. So there were a few more months before the time when she would give birth. Then I visited Todd and his parent right time when their baby would be. Todd's parents were very surprised that I came out of the blue to visit them. I had heard from my ex-husband that his parents had agreed with him, saying that he should switch to a younger woman so that he could have a baby. When I saw my ex-mother-in-law, I really wanted to hit her. And Todd's parents were surprised to see me. I heard a familiar voice coming from behind the curtain. It was my ex-husband.
Oh, you. Why the hell are you here?
In his arms was a small baby. The baby was innocent, but because it was born to Todd and Kendall, I doubted that it was all that cute.
Well, I came here to talk to your pap, but good thing that you're here too.
What is it?
That baby isn't yours.
What the? This baby is mine.
I'm sorry to say this, but that baby yours.
Based on what information are you saying that? You're not saying that out of spite.
No, because it's just well, it could be from just a small tube, but did you know that your body is not capable of having any kids?
What?
Well, this is the evidence. These are the results of the fertilizer test.
My ex-husband and his mother both signed the documents, and as they read on, their faces grew pale and paler. The results showed that my ex-husband was completely incapable of having a relationship, so there was no possibility of having a child if it was with him.
Well then, this baby is a boy.
But well, I'm not really sure if he's in touch with that man, but yeah.
No way.
My ex-husband slumped down in his chair, looking defeated.
Well, that's it then. Goodbye.
It was quite refreshing to see my ex-husband's reaction and his face looking very hopeless. And no doubt, Kendall will get what she deserves after she comes back. They all got what they deserved. Later, I heard what had happened with Kendall from a friend of mine who was at Todd's office, and it turns out Kendall and Todd got divorced after all. My ex-husband was not only an asshole, but also an idiot for cheating on me and recognizing too late that the baby was someone else's child. And since people found out about what happened, a lot of people thought that they were stupid enough to be too gullible for it to happen. People at his workplace also seemed at Todd coldly because of that and was having a hard time at work. He demoted in the end. This is what Todd gets and deserves. As for me, as for my hard work, I was promoted and my salary went up drastically. I am now living alone in a very nice apartment in the city and enjoying a very comfortable life. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.